Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. As always, I want to inspire you, I want to motivate you, I want to help you to see what is possible. And I want to share certain tips that can make you a better communicator, that can communicate your value and whatever it is you're trying to put across to your colleagues, to your management, to your clients, whoever, to just be on the spot and be able to communicate effectively. So today we're delving into the world of self-talk. So I'm going to be talking to you about the power of self-talk and how it can affect your communication, particularly in the workplace. Before we go on, what exactly is self-talk? Self-talk is that internal dialogue that you have inside of you, or those thoughts that you think about yourself, about your abilities, about your environment, the world around you, and just the way you perceive yourself and the way you converse or have conversations with yourself. That inner voice in your head that speaks to you, and it helps to form your perceptions about you. So for example, just imagine this scenario. You're in your office and you've been asked to give a presentation. You've prepared, you have everything ready, you're just ready to dish it out, and then you get up, and as you begin to walk to the front of that room to make that presentation, that voice starts to speak to you and it tells you you're going to mess up, you're not going to get this right, they're going to think you're incompetent, what do you even think you're doing? So I'm sure some of us can identify with that voice. And the thing about that is that it's an internal conversation you're having. And if you allow that conversation to go on inside of you, what is going to happen is that it's going to reflect not only inside of you, but outside of you. The way that you're presenting yourself that day, the way you make that presentation, your body language, everything will be impacted by your self-talk. And that is why it is very important. Now, there was a research that was done, with a group of people some time ago that I read about, and two plants were planted in the same environment, the same soil, the same exposure to sunlight. They were watered at the same time, everything that they needed to nourish and grow. And then this group of people, they were divided into two, and one group was asked to always, every day, go to the one plant and just praise it, tell it very good things. Oh, you're such a beautiful plant. Oh, you're doing so well. Your leaves are so green, and all of that. And then the next group was supposed to go to the other plant and keep telling it very negative things about itself. Look at you, you're not doing well, And you know what happened? After some time, the plants that was being told all those positive things, it grew, it blossomed, it became so big, it became beautiful. And the other one was stunted. It wasn't growing as fast. It was, it wasn't looking as bright. It wasn't looking as healthy as the other plant. So you can imagine what damage you will be doing to yourself if consistently you're talking to yourself and your thoughts about yourself or to yourself are negative. You're consistently, speaking self-depreciating things to yourself. And there are three ways I'm going to share with you that it can affect you. The number one way it's going to affect you is going to undermine your confidence. So when you get up to speak, to make a presentation, either in a meeting, even in a social gathering sometimes, or at work, you have to make a presentation on behalf of your company or to your management or whoever, what happens is that if your self-talk is negative, your body language is going to be negative. It's going to show. You're not going to look confident. It can even affect your dressing. You may not dress smartly. You come off looking somehow. Even the way you walk, the way you present yourself, everything about you just ties into your self-talk. Because you see, the thing about self-talk is that when you do that, you're telling your subconscious mind, which is the most powerful part of your mind, what to believe about you. So you're feeding it consistently with negative thoughts. Someone said, I think I heard this from giving this example from L. Nightingale. He said that the mind, the human mind, is like an open field. And you can choose to plant weeds in it, you can choose to plant flowers, you can choose to plant anything. And anything you plant on that field is the harvest you get. If you plant potatoes, you're going to harvest potatoes. If you plant roses, you're going to harvest beautiful roses. And if you plant other flowers, you're going to harvest beautiful flowers. Exactly what happens to your mind. If you keep telling yourself, I'm not good enough, I can't do it, I'm not capable, I'm not competent, what happens is that is exactly what your mind believes, and that is exactly what it gives out. And everything you do just shows, I'm not good enough, I'm not, even without speaking, it tells a story about you. So it undermines your confidence, and you begin to feel less and less confident, and you're insecure about your capability. And you may be very good at your job, but you begin to have that feeling that maybe I'm not so good. And then the next thing is your language. It affects your language in the sense that if you keep thinking negative thoughts about yourself, the chances are that everything you're going to say about yourself is going to be a reflection of the thoughts that are inside of you. So you're going to end up saying very negative things about yourself. I used to be like that. Somebody would say, oh, this dress you're wearing is really nice. And I'm like, oh, really? This dress? Oh, I've had this for so long. It's actually a very old dress. You know what that is? That is just negative self-talk. And it affects your self-esteem because you're not even able to accept a compliment and just say thank you. It doesn't matter if the dress is old. So it affects your language because you begin to try to say things or to explain things away. So when you're asked to now make a presentation in the office, instead of going straight to the point, you're trying to maybe make excuses or say, there's this about that. I'm going to do another video totally that will be, I'm going to address some of those things, how to speak and not come off as being incompetent, but what it does is that your language, it affects your language and it impacts on what you say. And if consistently you're always talking bad about yourself, what happens is that it's going to affect how others perceive you. So the third thing that it does, negative self-talk does to you, is that it affects other people's perception about you. What it means is that people are just going to think you're actually incompetent, you're actually not good at your job, you're actually, not skilled enough, and every other thing that you may have been saying or thinking to yourself. So, and that's how bad it gets, because when consistently you keep coming up to speak or to make a contribution, and you're always making excuses about yourself, or you're even joking. Some people's jokes about themselves are always negative. What happens is that other people will keep joking about you negatively, and before you know it sticks. All right then, so that's it for today. I've shared with you 3 ways that self-talk can impact on you, impact on your external communication with others. And I've shared with you, we've looked at the definition of self-talk. We've seen how important it is. I've given you examples. And I want you to go and digest that and really look at yourself. Examine yourself. Do a critical audit of your thoughts. What are you thinking about yourself? What are you thinking? Are your thoughts about yourself, are they empowering thoughts? Are they uplifting? Do they inspire you? Or are they thoughts that pull you down? And then by and large, they affect your external communication. Next week, I'm going to share with you 5 things that you can do to change any negative self-talk to positive self-talk and use your self-talk to your advantage to enable you communicate better and more effectively. So if you've enjoyed this video and if you've learned something, please click on the like button, share with someone that would also find it useful. And if you've not subscribed to my channel, kindly do so. And I'll see you in next week's video. Remember, it's part 2 of today's video and you don't want to miss it. Bye.